click on the subscribe button, and press the bell icon, to never miss any updates.
Welcome to Face to Face. My name is Dr. TK Nakagaki. I'm the president and founder of Heiwa, Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York and former president of the Buddhist Council of New York. And I'm your host of this show. And thank you for joining. Today, as I said, when you see me alone, I would ring the bell so that you have time to relax and so forth. And as I always mentioned before too, but our speed of living in a society in New York, especially, is very fast. And so, sometimes, of course, we wanted to catch up with the fast and speed, but yet also it is actually important to be able to relax a little bit. And so I hope this show will be a little bit relaxing one for you. So not rushing, and then sit comfortably, and then have bring some tea with you. And so let's begin. And so sit with your back straight. I'll ring the 3 bells. And so just relax your body, and you can lightly close your eyes and just breathe in and out slowly and deeply using your lower stomach. Okay? And your back will be straight. As you breathe in, you can bring peace to you. And then as you breathe out, you can extend peace to others. Same way, you can, as you breathe in, you can bring love to you. And then as you breathe out, you can extend the love to others. Okay, now you can open your eyes, and so I hope you're ready. And today, I just wanted to share some of the incident. Originally I was going to do one by one, like a schedule by schedule, but yet that's kind of, for me, myself is not there. I just try to, it's like a school or something. But so instead, I try to bring some of the ideas or incident what happens here in New York City, but then how we should be reacting as an interfaith practitioner. And so recently, actually, I don't know when this will be air, but yesterday we did have a gathering, the interfaith gathering, after the incident happens at the Pittsburgh synagogue. 11 people are killed, machine gun, and so that's the considered, of course, violent, gun violence, but also the hate crime. And so when those things happens, different religious leaders or people come and gather and start, sending the message of peace, which is actually very, nice things of the, interfaith people can do. Because it used to be probably if something happened to the Jewish people, then only Jewish people gather. Maybe if something happened to a Christian, then only Christian people gather. Well, maybe if it's a nationality, if something happened to the Japanese, maybe myself from Japan, then maybe Japanese people gather. but maybe if the Bangladesh people, something happened to the Bangladesh people, but Bangladesh people gather, but not the others much. And so in a way, interfaith group is interestingly, mixed. So when something happened in a Jewish synagogue, and then all the Christian people came, and then Buddhist came, Hindu came, and Muslim came, and Sikh, and then other tradition came too to support. Which is a very nice part of the interface too. The interfaith friendship, maybe. You can develop the friendship that way. And but at the same time, interface sometimes meaning, this is very new in a way, right? Because used to be people do not live in a society of all the races or religions are there, but more like a village to village, or sometimes a little bit city to city or something. But yet, before is only not many religions are together, like New York City. And so interfaith is, in a way, something very new, but also the global, the global way that we're living nowadays. Then we always meet the different religious people, different culture, different background of the people. So then that's why I think interfaith become very important. And I was start thinking, so what would be the most important part of the interface? Maybe I feel like listening is actually very important. Before we start, you did a little meditation, very, very short, but you become quiet. Then you can actually hear some sound around you. And also even here, I don't know whether you can hear or not, but there's a construction going on a little bit outside. Normally I don't hear, but then when you be quiet yourself, you can hear. So one part of the lesson for the interface is try to hear others. So in a way you can understand what's going on. But at the same time, you wanted to share where you stand. So instead of afraid of a difference, but you still share your understanding or your religious view. So in a way, this is a dialogue begin. So for me, interfaith is really the dialogue. And so once something happens, like a killing in a synagogue, but then after that, there's a lot of people talk about the non-violence or the gun control, especially in this country. So many people killed by the guns. And I'm originally from Japan, so it is very strange to hear that many of the gun fight are killed. Because in Japan, probably 1 or 2 people are killed per year by the gun related. Because nobody has a gun, basically. And here, I guess the guns are all over the place, like almost, the number is almost like one person can carry, all American person carry at least one gun or more. And so that's a lot of guns around. And so we have sort of like after ceremony or gathering of the interface, then people start talking with the guns. So how do you consider that, from the revisions, how important to have the weapons? And so in a way, it's a very interesting discussion after that. So in a way, you can talk about gun control from one revision, but when we talk about violence or guns controls and so forth, we can talk about from the different perspective. So in a way, the Eastern perspective, Western perspective, it's all different things. There is a theory like a justified war, or but then there's a theory of non-violence, and so which one is safer? Just not to have weapons, or we need to protect ourselves, so we have to have weapons. So there's always arguments like those. And in a way, throughout the human history, we've been doing a lot of fighting, killing each other, and so forth. And then how much we can continue is an interesting discussion that we can talk to. So like that, even like an interfaith aspect can bring the more wider view, or variety of the viewpoint. And so then that's more like a global citizens, right? And so we can talk from the Jewish perspective, Christian perspective, Muslim perspective, like the Abrahamic kind of tradition. But then from the other side, we do have Buddhist, Hindus, and Jains, and Native Americans, and so forth, so that they may give different perspective about peace. Even though we say peace, sometimes peace means different too. Some people, in order to create the peace, we need the weapons. Some people feel that way. And then other people, of course, feel in order to bring the peace, then peace means we don't need the weapons like those. So there are many aspects you can think of how interfaith works. Or interface of thinking, interfaith way of thinking, I guess, is very, very unique and different. Yeah, I don't, nowadays, of course, I came from Japan, and then here in New York, there are people from all over the world. And so they're traveling here and there, and then you encounter something different. Maybe I talked before about my book for the swastika, but then the swastika symbol could be seen if you go to Japan. Sometimes in a shrine, that's actually Buddhist temple. So, and then in Japan, there are many maps there, and you see the swastika, and then some American people really surprised why they have that, not just symbol there, but that's also the world is getting smaller. And then if you have interface understanding, then somehow, you understand why those things are there. So it is kind of one of the newer way, but yet it is a very effective way, I believe, to engage in interfaith activities or interfaith way of thinking. So again, as I said, first one is to be able to listen. And then next one probably is to be able to share what's your thoughts and so forth. And then the third one, this is probably a little difficult, but then maybe be flexible somehow, because interface is also, we try to learn each other. And then, so there is the idea, when I do interface, there's the idea of we are all human beings, meaning, we're not really God ourselves, meaning we don't know what really the truth is. And then sometimes we think we know everything, but we may not. And, I've never met anybody who are 100% good or 100% evil. And sometimes we categorize this person as very evil, but yet sometimes they do very nice things too. And but then sometimes even they consider as a very good person, but sometimes they do stupid things too, So sense of the human beings, we are all human, so which means we are not always the wise, but not always fool either. So sometimes we make mistakes too, right? And sometimes we succeed. And so which means we are not really the perfect, but rather we are imperfect. Therefore, we listen to others. Well, this is actually a very, very ancient part of the scriptures that we use many times. But so I believe different culture has a different way of bring the wisdom. But this is one of the wisdom that once we are ordinary people, then you can actually easy to listen to others, because I may not necessarily know everything. If I know everything, I don't have to listen to other people, first of all, anyway. And then we don't have to learn anything from others and so forth. But once you realize I'm not necessarily a perfect one, And then sometimes we see in New York there are great people, so they are much better equipped with a certain what do you call it, the talents and knowledge and so forth. So yeah, we see a lot of time, oh, there's some people, oh, should be better than myself. But then instead of comparing, just we can learn though. So that's what it means. So we meet somebody who know better, then we can learn from him or her. And so in a way, once you realize the perfect, not perfect, that's called also for me is a wisdom. So wisdom is normally mean become wise and so forth, and know everything. But actually, for me, interfaith wisdom is something like we may know our own faith, but not the other's faith. So therefore, we try to learn from other faith, or we try to, see what they practice and so forth. And so that's what do you call it? Maybe when you listen to each other and try to do something together, then we can correct, ourselves, and then we can balance. You can do the balanced way. So interface is like all mixture with a color. Instead of everybody become one color, everybody become, Buddhist, or everybody become Muslim, or everybody become Christian. I mean, sometimes that's the ideal for the world that they used to be. Like a small village could be possible for those. But yet now it's all those different religions, different culture, different people there. So in a way, each has their own uniqueness, and then we just sharing this earth together. So this earth does not belong to one person or one race or one religions, but rather we share this earth with all together. And so in order to how we can keep ourselves harmoniously and peacefully live, then we may need to, again, listen to other people and then learn from others. And then we can probably make better world, and working together. Nowadays, I guess the collaboration has been very, very popular in the business world too. It seems so. So collaboration is a little bit like I know this area. Like some people are good at financing, some people are good at the planning, some people are good at different things. Arts and so forth too. So when people are bringing their talents together, then you can create something new. So that's one of the business model, I guess. But so that could apply to the interface too. They bring the different faith, different tradition, and then instead of fighting each other, but rather we can help each other, support each other, and then bring something different. So that's, I think, is a uniqueness of interface, or challenge of the interface as well. And interface, things it started only recently, really, but at the same time, of course, each country has their own interface too. Probably like India, I know they have been different religions together, and so that's their own history that they have. And sometimes, political things involve and have a lot of violence and so forth. But yet, sometimes religion itself could keep them well. In myself from Japan, there's a Buddhist and then Shintoism. Then we call each other, and then somehow keep the harmony together. And which is something that we can learn from it. So it is very interesting when the different culture, different religion meet. Sometimes we fight. When those things happen, but yet sometimes we can keep the dialogue and going, and then try to understand each other. And so that may be something, a newer way of doing the religious practice and so forth. So anyway, time is running, and so thank you for joining me today. And with the bell, I finish. Thank you very much. Okay. See you next time. Bye.
ITV, Call of Peace, Save Humanity.